Hello, hello, hello. All right, today's video is the big one, if you like. There's videos out on the internet on how to start a supplement company, but I find that most of them are less than 20 minutes and it's just fluff. They're just giving you this basic overview on how to set up a Shopify store. And that's not how to start a supplement business. Okay, so what I thought I'd do today, normally I charge for this session, and I'm also thinking of putting it into a course, but that's going to be sometime down the road. So what I thought I'd do today is just off the top of my head, give you the complete A to Z on how to start the supplement company. And this is going to be a long video, probably going to be a couple of hours. I don't know. It's off the top of my head. I've not scripted anything. So I'm not sure how long it's going to run, but I'll tell you this right now. Full disclaimer. This ain't for entertainment purposes. So there'll be very few edits, no sound effects, and all the other stuff we need to keep the average reprobate watching. This, I'm not interested in 100%. I just want those 5% of people, you, that are going to go and get a cup of coffee, get a notepad and pen, and start writing down and planning your dream supplement business. Because what I'm about to give you now is really everything. Of course, we could go a lot deeper, and in future videos we do. So make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss those. But this is it. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to fire up a to-do list I've made, and we're going to follow the to-do list. So let's bring that up and get straight into it. And I want to like on this video, not because I need likes, but God, you need to show some gratitude when someone gives this for free. Well, let's see, actually. Let's see how we do, because I might give you a load of old rubbish. But I'm going to shut up because I know you're already reading ahead. I know you can see that. So I'll take a sip of my mega pint. You have a quick peruse, and we'll get cracking in a second. Oh, I love vodka. Just kidding. All right. Step one, we got sort of four phases here: envision, create, build, and test. I need to come up with some better names. But let's just start with phase one. Phase one is sitting down with pen and paper and designing out this dream supplement company. I kind of liken this to starting a band. And that is this inception, this envision, this vision for the business, and this is like starting a band. This is like writing the songs and drinking Jack Daniels on a Saturday afternoon with your mates in the garage, writing those riffs and choosing what you're going to wear on stage and all that cool stuff. It's fun, and yet so many people skip this bit by outsourcing it. They don't care. So my advice before we get into this is slow it down. This is your future, and some freelancer on a freelance site is going to throw you together a label or a website in a couple of days. It's not going to put you set for the best, and it's not going to set you up for the best position you could be in. The best position you could be in is to sit down and really think, what do I care about? Which group of people do I want to serve, or what niche or ailment? And I don't matter whether it's gym bros, with pre-workouts, post-workouts, and proteins. I don't care if it's the crypto bros or the entrepreneurs with like a focus formula to get them the 25th in now, an hour in the day. Or you could build an anti-aging company and help seniors with their joint pain, their memory issues. There's so much we could do. But what most people do, the number one mistake they make is that they go and choose a product first. And why is that a mistake? Because 9 times out of 10, your eye will be caught by something that's trending. And I cannot stomach trending products. I'll tell you why. Building a business the right way is exhausting. It's rewarding and it feels great. It's like running a marathon sometimes. And at the end, it's kind of cool. But what you don't want to do is follow a trending product that has its day, and then 18 months later, after all that effort, fine, you got to go and do it again. There's no longer a market for turmeric or Shilajit or Irish sea moss. That's had its trending day on TikTok. And the reality is, you might say, well, I want to nip in and grab a piece of that pie. Well, that's fair enough. But one, you better be a seasoned marketer, because when you see something like turmeric trending, it's not because the whole world woke up one morning and had a sudden craving for turmeric. It's because a big marketing company that know what they're doing, with 500,000 a month minimum ad spend budget, have decided they found a little story behind Shilajit coming from the Himalayan mountains, or whatever it is, Irish sea moss, and its ability to, act as an antioxidant and lower inflammation, whatever. Excuse me. We go and do this, and we get in there, and you just can't compete. These guys have put so much money, so much effort behind it, and you'll pick up some little scraps, and in 18 months you'll have to go and build another one. The smart person doesn't chase a product or choose a product first. They build their supplement business around a group of people, a niche or an ailment. And I've already gone into a couple of ideas there. Why? Because if we're doing fat loss every single day, someone is going to start their fat loss journey. Today, 6 months' time, 6 years' time, every single day, someone will look in the mirror and go, enough is enough. And if you build a fat loss company, she will be evergreen. You're not going to have to rebuild it again or find some other market or industry in 18 months' time. And trust me, with every year we get older, the energy level goes down, the inclination to learn, the desire to build. So build it right the first time. Pick a bunch of people. And I'll give you an example. If we go with product first, this makes life hard. It's like if I said turmeric, where are we going to advertise that? Facebook or Instagram? I'll give you 2 seconds. Got the answer? The answer is nice try, Marky. That's a trick question. Before we can answer whether we want to go to Instagram with our advert or whether we want to go to Facebook, funnily enough, we first need to decide who we're trying to reach. Are we dealing with a 72-year-old here or are we dealing with a 27-year-old? Because if we're 72-year-old Margaret and we're trying to hit her with our turmeric to lower inflammation, to help her with her joints, there's a high chance Margaret isn't over on Instagram every day taking boob selfies to get men sliding in the DMs. She will be on Facebook in the boomer groups complaining about the millennials on Instagram doing the boob selfies to get men. So if we don't know who we're talking to, even if we've got a product, our marketing's a little bit screwed already, right? Now, if I said to you we got 72-year-old market, okay, great. We know where to advertise. If it was 27-year-old Susan or John, probably a millennial. And we could go off to Instagram for our first ad. Another beautiful thing around building a niche is that it's very easy to keep people loyal, and it's very easy to make highly targeted marketing. I built my niche around people that couldn't focus very well. Had a lot of great ideas, were bright minds, but spinning any more than one plate and they drop everything and nothing really happens. Because I picked that niche, the supplements started choosing themselves. I needed a focus formula. I needed an energizer. I needed something to lower anxiety. All these things are conducive to getting into the right mindset to get things done. I also, because I'd chosen focus, and it doesn't matter what niche you pick, I could now make highly targeted articles every single month. All I needed to do was articles on how to get your desk set up for maximum productivity, the apps I use to stay on top of everything, how I run a proper to-do list, how I take a big task and break it down. I could even go into how I work out with ADHD, because if you've got ADHD, you can't sit in the gym for an hour. Around 25 minutes, that brain's going, I'm bored already. So what I've done as an ADHD sufferer is worked out a way to get in shape in 25 minutes a day. It's quite intense, but I can now share that information. And now my ADHDers and my people that struggle with focus issues can get their bodies in shape, which is going to help get their minds in shape and get them to sit down and get more stuff done. So because I'm providing these people with highly niched articles, relevant articles, these people are staying with me. There's no reason to shop around. Even if the product only delivers 90% of their expectations, they're still staying with me because they know I care. I'm like the YouTuber that's giving all the free information. Like right now. And what we have with YouTube is we have this thank you economy where I'll give you information every month, every night for 3 months. And then I'll say, hey guys, I got a t-shirt drop going on. And I'll go over and buy a t-shirt from that person. And I'll say, what logo do you want? Don't care. What color? Don't care. Size? I really don't care. What do you mean you don't care? Because I'm not in the market for a t-shirt. I'm not here for a t-shirt. The t-shirt is just the means for me to send my favorite content creator on YouTube $30 so they don't need to get a job and they can keep making these videos I love. And the same happens in the supplement industry. When you start caring and you build a business that only speaks to one niche or group of people, they feel very special. And if you provide that content every single month in the form of just one article in a newsletter, they will feel you truly care. And if you're answering the questions the doctors seemingly no longer have 5 minutes to give us these days, well, then they will stick with you and they will buy the supplement as a thank you, providing it's getting them 90% of the result. This is why we don't go and follow whatever's trending. You won't compete. The big guys are already in there with ad spends you'll never touch, and they're seasoned marketers. We need to go and find a bunch of neglected people. I don't care if it's in the fat loss bride market or the 50-year-old guy who wants to get in shape, whatever it is. There's millions of people in these niches. I actually have a lady, black lady client, who all she deals with, and most people would freak out at this, all she deals with is ladies. Okay, I don't mind gendering down. We lose half the market, but it's cool. Now she's only doing black ladies. Okay, so she only serves black ladies, and she's only doing black ladies' hair. Now, most people would freak out at that. That's too niche. There can't be anyone left. But that client of mine has got a conversion rate of 10%. She doesn't see a million people a day to her website, but when a black lady who's looking for a black lady hair solutions developed by a black lady, and the story which she tells on the homepage is wonderful as well. This lady client of mine built all her original formulas herself in the kitchen. She went then, once she got a result from it, she would then take that formula, be it a scalp formula or whatever it might be, a hair straightening product, and she would take it to a GMP, and we'll get into GMP later, but essentially an FDA registered manufacturing facility, and she would have the product turned into an official product and sell it on the site. And if you're a black lady and you land on that site with hair issues and you see my client there and she's there looking lovely, like a lovely aunt that would give a mean old cuddle, you just think, oh my God, I'm home. Someone that finally gets me in my needs. So never be frightened of the niche. The global average on a conversion rate is 2.2%, according to SEMrush, which means of 100 people to the website, an average website, 2 people will buy something. My lady client, because she's got so niched, 10 out of every 100 women hitting her site are buying. And it makes life easy. If you could get a conversion rate of 4.4% when your competitor was converting at 2.2, you could almost spend 50% less on marketing and get the same job done. And ad costs can get up there. So think about a niche and let a bunch of people feel when they hit your website, I'm home. Yes, someone that gets me. What you don't want to do is go and pick 3 or 4 trending products and create like this weird janky iHerb or GNC that doesn't speak to anyone. Oh, but turmeric's trending and she legit. That's doing real well right now. And Irish sea moss. And it's like, great. But not one of those 3 products together aren't speaking to a niche. I hope you have some fun with that marketing and that you can get a little taste off these guys that are just pushing, pushing, pushing. But my advice is to go and find a bunch of people first, a bunch of people you'd really like to work with. And I'll say one last thing on this. If I was to give you a list of 150 products right now and say, let's start with the product first rather than the person. And we've already seen with the marketing, Instagram or Facebook. Does it work? Not really. But let's try just product sourcing. Here's a list of 150 products. Choose me 3. I'm watching you. You're there. A phosphatidal serum. I've never heard of that. Marky, I got it. Turmeric. Why turmeric? Because it's the only one you know, right? Turmeric would have been a dreadful choice. There's already some people doing the turmeric push. You're likely not to compete. If you do get a bit of the action on turmeric, it's a single ingredient formula. My dear old mum, who cannot fly around the internet at all really well, at 74, could still get that bottle from you in the post that she's paid $27 for or $19.99, whatever. And as soon as she sees it's just turmeric, she can write it down on a bit of paper and go down to the supermarket tomorrow and say, excuse me, darling, do you have turmeric? And they'll say, yes, my dear. Yeah, here it is. And it's $4 a bottle. And she'll say, I've been paying 27. And she'll never, ever come back to you again. Turmeric and single ingredient formulas aren't good. Okay. So picking people first, 42-year-old Danny, alpha male, likes muscle cars, like rough and tough guy, maybe a jock when he was younger, been in the gym most of his life, but he's 42 and he's a bit beat up due to lower testosterone. Been married 12 years with 2 lovely kids and he loves his wife, but sex is lagging a little bit now just because it's been 12 years. And when he looks in the mirror, he sees his father. Now let's go and choose Danny and find products. Well, we probably don't even need a list, do we? Just think about Danny and his needs. 42, low T. Mark, do you have a testosterone booster? I do. Wow, I'm going to easily get Danny's attention with this. Do you have a libido booster? Put a little bit of zip back in his love life and sex drive. Yep, there's a libido booster. Danny's been training a lot, but he's got a bit of a dad bod now because of the kids and family and work and just 42. All right, we'll take a formula for that then as well. It goes on and on and on. Let's get him pre-workout. Let's get him a fat loss. The products identify themselves when we choose a person. Not my opinion. Fact, I'll give you another one. Let's go back to 72-year-old Margaret. I'll say no more. I know because your brain's already thinking, well, 72-year-old, it'd be a memory formula, a joint formula. See how easy it gets? All right, so create your business around a niche or an ailment or a group of people, gym bros or fat loss brides or whatever it might be, and you'll have a much better time because the products will identify themselves. The products will be highly relevant. If you keep the products just for that niche, one client could buy, if you've got 3 products, one client could buy all 3. If you did your mini iHerb with your turmeric and your Shilajit and your Irish sea moss, any one of those products will only be relevant to one person. But if they all were based around a niche, then one person could come in and buy all 3 products. It would almost be like, instead of having to market to 3 different people, you could market once to one and see 3 times the money. Starting to make sense. And of course, as I said, your marketing could be highly targeted as well. Your website can be set up and everything can just look like home when that person lands on the website. And that's how my lovely lady client is doing a 10% conversion rate. That's a good time. Trying to sell turmeric in a flooded turmeric market when the supermarket's your competitor at $4 is not smart. So identify your perfect average client and their needs. All right, create a band or a brand name that resonates with you and your PAC and register the domain. All right, create a brand name. I put the R in brackets. It's a bit confusing. I'll take that out one day. This was just my own notes for myself. But really, I liken it to starting a band. And sadly, that is the best part of being in a band. I'm a musician. And that first 3 months where you're drinking Jack Daniels in the garage with your new best mates of a Saturday, writing the songs and deciding what you're going to wear at your first gig and what the album cover's going to look like. This stuff's fun. And yet, when it comes to the supplement business, this envision part, everyone rushes it. No one shows any care. No one shows any love, and they outsource everything. The number of people that come to me for help. Hey, Mark, my supplement business sucks. Can you help? And I just look at the bottle and it looks like one of these dollar store sports nutrition labels. And the website doesn't really speak to anyone and it's thrown together. And I'm like, did you do any of this? No, we just outsourced it to some stranger the other side of the planet that doesn't care about us or our clients. Yeah, I can tell. So don't try and skip the creation process. The more you work now, the easier it will be later on. I think it was Lincoln who said, Abraham Lincoln said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Preparation and planning is everything. And if you sit there and build this dream company, life will be easy. And here's a little tip. Sometimes it's kind of cool to make the niche about you and your needs. I had terrible focus issues, so I built the niche around me. But knowing that this was my problem, I knew that there were lots of people out there that were probably like me. And therefore, I could do my site in terms of design, language, colors, images. I could do everything to the point where I thought it was cool. Now, that's a bad idea. Just because you like it doesn't mean the market will, but it was because I was my target market. So all I had to do was make a logo that I thought was sick. I love that. And create a product name that I thought was so cool and do the labels and do the website. And I did it all myself. I kind of learned. I didn't do the development of the website, but I started sketching out what I wanted on there. And I used PowerPoint to start dropping in little blocks. And I want a text box here and I want this image here. And I did it all. And at the end of building that business, I looked at it and I went, damn, that looks cool to me. So all I had to do was go and find more of me. And I knew where I was already hanging out online. I knew the language and messaging that I would respond to. I knew the images that I liked. I just had to go and find more people that like me. And I also knew becoming a community leader and getting a newsletter out every month, if I found people like me, it's probably going to resonate really, really hard. Now, you don't need to find people like you, but just make sure you pick a niche you care about. You will be surprised that 11 years down the road, I'm still getting 3, 4 emails a day from people who are day one. And it's 11 years for me. And I don't want to get into these conversations. Hi, I found focus formulas. I didn't know they existed. What can you tell me? And it's like, oh God, I've written this email 1,000 times. But you know what? It's a small blessing because I know my market and I do love my people. And you can always template out. If I had gone into menopause or ladies' sexual health, it would have been answering emails every day about these ladies' vaginas. And I don't really have an issue, but seeing as you listen to someone who suffers with focus issues like me 11 years later, it's kind of tedious. I'm kind of glad I didn't pick the ladies' vagina market. So give thought. You can make a rod for your own back. Find a niche you care about because just being in the room with the marketers and having that conversation, if you don't care and you only got into it for the money, it's all going to suck. I woke up every morning 4 5 a.m. and I am not a 4 or 5 a.m. guy, but when I built my supplement company, my brain would not rest because I loved it. And that's what you need to make sure, because if you love your business, it will scream it and other people will pick up on that too, especially in a world where so much crap is thrown together with AI and people that don't care and freelancers that don't have a clue what they're doing. And no disrespect to any 20-year-olds, but 20-year-olds marketing for you. And all they've done is watched a 1 hour YouTube on how to set up your $10,000 a month AI marketing agency. And it's the blind leading the blind. And you're going to probably have a bad time if you couple that with a piece of old crap you threw together for the sake of making some bucks by hawking vitamins. When I got into this, I decided I was going to change maybe the world, but if I failed at that, I was definitely going to change someone's world. And I changed many thousands of people's worlds now. All right. So give proper thought to this, put love and care in. People will pick up on businesses in this day and age that care because they stand out like a beacon in this world of corporate greed. Just do things right and you will have an easy time. Put the person before the product and slow down on the band creation or the brand creation and just put some love and care in that. Spend 4 of the 6 hours sharpening the axe and you'll get that tree down in 2. All right. So here we are on our to-do list. Now, this to-do list, create a formula. This to-do list is based on a custom formula. And this is the first thing we need now to look at. I'm going to turn this, stop sharing for a minute and just come back to me. So we've got in the supplement industry, we've got 2 options basically. And then there's a third option, which is a payment option. I'm talking about custom formulas, private label, and then drop shipping. Thank God, Mark, this is confusing me. I understand. Let me help you out. All right. When we step into this world and we decide to sell a supplement, we have 2 options. We can sell what we call a custom formula or a private label formula. A custom formula is a formula with a unique formula written by you or for you, with a formula unique to your business. Something that's not out there, something that's a little bit more potent, a little bit special. Maybe you've put the sleep formula with the collagen for a sleeping beauty product, never done before. Maybe you put the nighttime fat burner with the sleep ingredients, and now it's, hey, stop exercising. The heart's a pump and should be rested. And stop dieting. That's going to destroy your mental health. Instead, just take my formula and go to bed and wake up slimmer. That stuff's cool. So a custom formula is unique. Maybe you've spotted a hole in the market. I personally launched with a custom. We'll go into the pros and cons in a moment. But the other option is the private label formula. Now, private label is essentially the industry term for wholesale. So custom might take 12 weeks to make because they're going to order in the ingredients they haven't got that you need for your formula, etc. But with the private label, this stuff's already made. The day you say, hello, I'm interested in your fat burner, they'll probably have 200,000 bottles pre-made on the shelf, just no labels on. And then it's a case of you supplying a label, or the private label manufacturer will create a label for you using their design team, and you just tell them how many bottles you want. Now, there is this third model, but it isn't a model. It's drop shipping. And people think that it's this model, custom, private label, and drop ship. Dropship is not a model. It is a payment method, essentially pay as you go. So dropship does not factor in on custom. No manufacturer is going to build you 1,000 bottles to your unique specification and then keep them all there and just say, pay us $12 every time you sell a bottle. That's not going to happen. Instead, what's going to happen is we are going to, sorry, a light went off then and it's just caught my train of thought. And it stopped my train of thought, should I say. We want to, oh, Custom formulas. Anyway, we were talking about custom formulas. I forget, but I'll just get back into wherever, whatever I was going to say next. So with our, yeah, drop shipping, that's what we were talking about, right? Drop shipping custom has nothing to do with it. Drop shipping is a payment method on private label. So you could go to a manufacturer who does private label and you could say, do you have a fat burner? Yes, we got 3 different types. Great. And do you have a pre-workout? We do. And what do I need to do here? And they'll say to you, if they do the drop ship, they'll say, well, you can buy, say, 150 bottles minimum order quantity. Or if you don't want to invest in any stock, because that might run you, say, $1,000 or whatever, if you don't want to run any stock, we could let you have the same products, but on a pay-as-you-go method where you have access to the products and you can list, say, 10 of them on your website, but you don't actually pay us anything up front other than a joining fee and a monthly fee. And then what you'll do is pay as you go. Now, this drop shipping thing, I've done a video on it, so make sure you check that out. It is confusing to people. And I've heard clients say, I'm not interested in drop shipping, not interested in drop shipping, but I think they misunderstand. Drop shipping historically was coming out of Asia, Southeast Asia, China, for example. And the biggest problem there was that we were selling products that were 6,000 miles away or whatever, and they would be sent with around about a 3 to 4 week delivery time. And of course, no one was ever honest about that. They were all trying to give the illusion that this stuff was all being made in the States, be it fidget spinners or backpacks or whatever. And the average drop shipper, if you said, how's drop shipping? They would just be pulling their hair out saying, all I do is just spend all day answering emails from people going, where's my damn product? And I don't even know how to tell them it's not 3 days. It's going to be 4 weeks because it's coming from the other side of the world. Drop shipping was generally a bad time. But with supplements now in the US and in the UK and certain other countries, these private label manufacturers who are building lots of bottles, they are now prepared to let you get started at little to no cost, maybe a $300 joining fee and something like a $99 a month subscription fee. But that will allow you to pick products from their catalog without buying any. You just advertise them on your website and you run the ads to them or whatever marketing you're going to do. And then when you sell one, the private label people have those labels that you've had made on their hard drives, and they'll look at your website every morning because the sites will be linked. And they'll go, right, Mark did 18 of the protein, and they'll print 18 protein labels off, stick them on the bottle, send them out on your behalf, and bill you for those bottles in 7 days' time or at end of month. So I hope that clears it up. Now let's look at the pros and cons. There's one, obviously in the perfect world, we all want the custom formula, right? But there's a problem with the custom formula. And that is, it's a lot of effort to make it. The manufacturers will have to order in ingredients likely that they don't have. And they're going to have to shut down production just for you for an extended amount of time. And for that reason, you will find nearly all manufacturers doing custom formulas will want a minimum order commitment, a minimum order quantity of 1,000 bottles from you. And if you're thinking powders or little sachets or whatever, essentially a bottle would be a box, a 1 month supply, so a box of 24 or 30 little sachets. So it's quite a big commitment, and that can bump us up to the 10,000, the 5-figure price tag, 10,000 plus when getting our custom formula launched. I do have a friend, there are people out there and very established US-based manufacturers who will do 500 to get your foot in the door and get you up and going. But in general, you're looking at 1,000 to 1,500 on a custom order. So if you don't quite have the ability to write a check for $10,000, what we can do is move over to private label. Private label's wholesale, pre-built, as I've said, and it's just a battle of the brands. It's down to how sexy you can make your label look to stand out, and then how good your sales copy is to sort of answer that site visitors' questions, to overcome any objections, to instill them with a little bit of hope that finally this product they found has the solution to their ailments and gets them to check out. That's what we are doing with a private label. It's not unique to you, but it could get you up and running at a minimum order quantity of like 100 bottles, 150 bottles. So a low amount to write that check for. And listen, there's nothing wrong with doing hybrid. One of my businesses has a custom formula as the flagship, and then it's supported by private labels. Or what you could do is start with a private label formula and just work for 6 months, getting some customers into the product, getting them to buy again. And then when the money's coming in, you could go and write that dream custom formula, which could be based on the private label one you've been selling. You just add in a couple more spicier ingredients, up some milligrams, and you go back to your audience saying, hey, I've built version 2. and they're only going to love you for it. Okay. Now let me just go back to my to-do list. Right. So this is the layout for custom, and the custom, as I say, normally takes about 3 months from signed off label. So you'll get your formula together, you'll get quoted, you'll say I like that, and you'll pay your deposit, and we will then have either the manufacturer make the label or you will provide it. And from that point on, we're looking at roughly 3 months. They'll tell you 8 weeks, they'll tell you 6 weeks on the website, they'll tell you 8 weeks on the phone call, and they'll deliver in 12. And some scumbags have even delivered in 15 weeks. So if you've got an existing supplement business, be mindful and add yourself another month or two contingency when reordering, because these goofballs will usually find a reason to delay. And the last thing you want is to let your clients know that there's nothing for them for 4 more weeks. That's when they'll leave you and go find someone else. If we go private label, this line 3 here, create a formula that aids your perfect average client's 3 key health issues or wants. Do that, and if you go private label, then obviously just go and find the formula that helps them with those issues. Now, when finding formulas there, you'll see there I've got the rules. I do have a couple of rules. You do not need to stick to this, okay? It's not hard and fast. If you're a good marketer or you've got something different about you, maybe you're prepared to jump on camera, then these rules won't really apply, because I'm sure you can generate enough interest anyway. But if you came to me and said, Mark, I'm not going to get on camera and be an influencer and start selling, and it's really down to marketing and I'm not very good at it, could you tell me some rules when picking my first few products? Then I would give you the following. Okay, this is if choosing private label, and even if creating a custom formula. So the first rule would obviously be, don't go and buy something that's trending, and we've covered that already. Build or buy a formula that's based around your target market, your perfect average client's number one ailment. Okay, the second rule would be, don't sell single ingredient formulas. Turmeric, Shilajit. There's some guys having good times on that. I know 2 boys who are doing 2.8 million. They did 2.8 million last year on a single formula product. But I've been on a Zoom call with these guys, and they are beasts. They're dialed in. They're running 20, 30 staff, etc. So if you're day one and it's just you and your partner, or just you sat behind the laptop, I would highly recommend we stay away from single ingredient formulas, because the supermarket is your competitor, and there's very little margins. If you're going to have a good time on a single ingredient formula, it's going to be through sheer volume, and you need to be good at marketing. I also personally love to write stories behind ingredients. I could with a single ingredient, but again, my fear is that I go and write this incredible website selling every reader into the power of turmeric, but then they see the $27 price tag and go, I'm going to Walmart later, and I swear it's like $5. So if I've got 4 or 5 ingredients in a formula, well, that customer can't write down the 5 ingredients and go down Walmart today and say, excuse me, dear, do you have anything with turmeric, ashwagandha, phosphatidylserine, chondroitin, and glucosamine? The person working at Walmart's going to say, whoa, I have no clue what you're talking about. I think you need a chemist. And that person's going to have to come back to your website and buy from you. That's why I avoid single ingredient formulas. The third rule, if you like, when choosing a formula, if I'm a day one beginner, would be to avoid wellness and vitality. I hate these markets. Spirulina shakes, manuka honey, acai berry, goji berry, super greens. These are all supplements, but the reason I don't really like these things is because there is no reason for someone to come back every single month. If I'm buying something for vitality and wellness, I hate those 2 words as well. They're so weak. It usually means that I'm probably feeling good already. I might already be up at 5 a.m. doing the cold plunge and the yoga. I'm not just looking for that next ace up my sleeve. What that means is, if, while you might get that customer to buy, in 3 to 6 months, they might fall off, because you might be charging a little bit of extra money, and they're probably not noticing much of a difference. Now, if we get rid of our wellness, I just want to feel a little bit better than I already do person, and go and replace them with someone who's got chronic knee pain, that person is going to be with you for life if every month that supplement takes away that pain. So I personally avoid wellness and vitality, and I find products that deal with pain. Now, pain doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional. I would argue to a certain point, weight Fat is more of an emotional pain. Later on, when your ankles are swollen and hurting in the knees and all the joints are under so much stress, of course, it's a physical pain. But on day one, fat loss is probably just a mental pain. It starts with someone just not liking who they see in the mirror. And that person, if we can get them a result, will rely on you and lean on you and be grateful. So try and find formulas that fix pain rather than just make people feel good. Because if you take pain away, they'll come back every single month. And this is why we like supplements, is because of the residual income. I got a client who did 1.7 million on lunch boxes and then came to me and said, I want supplements. And I said, you're doing a hell of a job on them lunch boxes. He said, I know, but the problem is I'll phone up the mum and say, how's that lunch box going? And she'll be saying, it's 6 months and great. We might see you in a year for another one. I don't want that. I want someone back every 4 weeks. These damn lunch boxes are too tough, Mark. Get me into the supplement industry where we've got this lovely 30-day recurring income coming in. We don't get that with the wellness stuff. But if you take someone's pain away, physical or mental, erectile dysfunction, I don't believe it's painful. But my God, how motivated would you be if you were a man and you suddenly couldn't get an erection and then someone came along and said, you know, this problem that's destroying your life, your marriage, every belief you hold around yourself and your masculinity, I can take that away for $49.99. A guy is going to be with you every single month, providing we can get him the result. The fourth or fifth rule would be to avoid youngsters. And by youngsters, this old man is saying 39 and under for me. I could go younger than that, but really, I don't want to be targeting 20 and low 30s because these guys usually feel good anyway. Now, you might argue, well, Mark, there are still some 30-year-olds out there with, focus issues, and they are, etc. But the problem is, and the reason I like that 39, 40 plus market is anyone below, certainly in this climate, doesn't have too much disposable income. And what I've also found with the youngsters, because I did target them for 18 months, is I found that they love you to death and they will come and waste hours of your time in emails just saying, I love your brand, I love what you're doing. They get real excited. But 3 months later, they're gone. They're not loyal. They keep getting, it's not even their fault. They'll go back to buy your supplement again on Amazon. Guess what's surrounding your supplement? 12 other competitors. They are always on the damn phones with ads hitting them, brighter, shinier objects, supplements, and they'll move around. With us oldies, we don't like the bloody phone. I don't want to internet shop and price compare every other week. I just want to find a solution to my ailments and get it subscribed or whatever, set it and forget it. And you just make sure it's on my doorstep every month. And if it's a pain related problem, pain related supplement, and this pain is going to affect me every day of my life as an oldie, you've done the job. You sell to me once and I'll be with you every month for 10 years. And you don't need to put your hand in your pocket one more time on an ad to get me back. I'm there with you. I've got disposable income. When Black Friday comes along, and I found this with the youngsters, you're like, hey, youngsters, where you at? Where you at? Oh, it's 85% off a new TV for the lounge, is it? And that's more important than my supplement this month. All right. Well, I'll see you December, yeah? I'll let you off November, but I'll see you December. December, where are you at? Where are you at? Sorry, it's Christmas, or, irrespective of faith or religion, pretty much the whole world in December is moving around, be it for the New Year or whatever it is, travel costs, etc. November, December, you don't see no one when you're dealing with youngsters. And guess what? All right, I can go 8 weeks without any money. That's cool. We'll see them in January, but you don't, because they're all broke because they've just had 2 really expensive months. The oldies, when you're 45 and you've got knee pain, you can give a stuff if it's 99% off that big TV for the lounge. If you've only got the money for the TV or the supplement and it's chronic knee pain, that money's going to the supplement first. Fact. So that's why I like to deal with the oldies. And they're real grateful too. They really send nice letters when you do fix their problems, and that feels good, keeps you going. So there's some rules there. You don't have to stick to any of them. I've got clients breaking them all the time. But if you said, Mark, I'm a day one dummy, just give me the safest route across the ice, I'd say stick with those 4 or 5 rules, and that should do you well out the starting gate. And once you've got your footing under you, you've got some confidence, you want to tap into a younger market, or you want to go for a single ingredient formula because you really believe that adding that to your range would be a really wonderful thing, then you can break those rules, but just bear them in mind on day one. All right, so find a manufacturing partner. Now, this bit here, I've put certified GMP. Now, let me tell you, when we come into the supplement industry, Uh, we can catch a cold. I I think the biggest fear my clients have is how do I not get screwed? How do I know they're going to put what they, what my formula is? How do I know that's going to be what's in the capsules and all that? And I'll tell you, there's a few manufacturers out there that aren't putting in your formula. And I got stung once. I went, and I'll explain GMP in a moment, but I went non-GMP once. And oh, that did me so much damage. So, what is GMP? Well, basically, with dietary supplements, we can't get FDA approval on a formula. You cannot get FDA approval on a dietary supplement, only a drug you've written the molecular structure for, a new drug. You can't go laying claim to ginkgo biloba and vitamin B6. And if you did go and run clinical studies and trials for 6 months and spent $500,000, you couldn't patent a dietary supplement formula as your own anyway. You didn't create B6. So anyone else could then take your study and go and match your exact formula, and there's really nothing you could do about it. So how do we prove to our clients that it's not you this weekend with your partner and your mates, hairnets on in the garage, eating some pizza and drinking some beers while knocking this stuff up in the mixing bowls? Well, what we do is we go and find a GMP, that stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. Okay, we find ourselves a certified GMP manufacturer, and the Good Manufacturing Practice, the Good Manufacturer Practices guidelines, essentially the rules laid out by the FDA. And if you see a manufacturer who can build you your supplement for you, or they have some private label ready to hand to you, and they are GMP, they would be the people to go for. That basically means that that facility is FDA registered, and the FDA will mystery shop that facility. They might turn out of the blue unannounced and just start making sure that the ingredients are stored at the right temperatures, that they're kept separated from each other. They'll take swab tests on the equipment, make sure there's no contaminants like allergens, like nuts, shellfish, etc. And also for the GMP, what happens is when we go with a GMP manufacturer, they test every ingredient first before the mix. And then when they've mixed all the ingredients, decanted into capsules or whatever it might be, and put them into bottles, and they've got your batch of 1,000 bottles or whatever, to comply with the FDA's Good Manufacturing Practice guidelines, a handful of those bottles at random will be sent off to a third-party independent tester who will make sure what's in those capsules is what's on that supplement facts. And again, I went non-GMP once, tried to be smart, thought I'd try it because I could shave $2 a bottle off. And that isn't my mentality. I'm a big quality guy. But I thought, look, how do I know the GMP thing isn't just a load of old nonsense? Maybe these guys are just as good. They just haven't got that accreditation. And it turned out I was wrong. I will say this, I don't know what was in those capsules, but it was not my formula. And yeah, I saved $2 a bottle, but I lost around 30% of my long-term clients. You see, when you build a custom formula that takes 3 months and then you've screwed it up because you tried to take a shortcut, it's okay writing off 15 grand. I think I wrote the whole lot off, 12, 13,000, binned the lot. And I had to start again, really. I can do that. I can take the 15 grand smack on the chin. I'll cry once that night, drink a bottle of whiskey, and the next day it's back on the horse and cart, and let's go. But the person that won't suffer a quarter of a year without their knee pain formula is your customer. So whilst I could take the loss financially, my clients, a lot of them weren't prepared to hang around when I had to explain the formula's got screwed up and we're going to have nothing for you for the next 2 to 3 months. GMP, GMP, GMP. Now, let me get into why GMP. When building a supplement or selling a supplement, there are 3 areas you can screw up. Okay, so we're going to get into the legal side of things here. Now, the first is the formula. Now, an example of screwing up on a formula was you wrote a custom formula yourself and you were supposed to put 300 milligrams of caffeine, accidentally put an extra zero, and we now have 3,000 milligrams of caffeine, 20 cups in a capsule, and we're going to start blowing people's heads off. If you go alone or you go to a non-GMP manufacturer, you may find they're not even going to catch that themselves. But a GMP manufacturer, they must play backstop on that formula. They will have a qualified formula writer, chemist, whatever, go through that ingredient, those ingredients, those formulas. They'll be referencing the FDA's RDAs, the recommended daily amounts, and they'll make sure that there's nothing there that's possibly going to hurt someone. And if they do think something's going on there, they should let you know. If it's private label and the formula is already built, you don't need to worry. And I've worked with a few private manufacturers, and they'll send me a little email every now and again saying, "Hey, Mark, one of the ingredients in this formula you're selling has come under scrutiny, and we're reformulating it, and we just wanted to let you know." So I'm pretty confident with a GMP selling private label that they're going to notify me, and we're going to have a great formula either way. GMP, there's people like me now, and you too, who should never work with non-GMP, and our GMP manufacturers know this, and so they will deliver us a proper formula. And if it's pre-built, even better still, we don't need to worry there. The second area we could screw up on would be the labels. Okay, so with the labels, we can catch a cold with more the FTC rather than the FDA. The FDA come and get you when you're throwing stuff in the formula that you're not disclosing. A lot of people got caught out putting sildenafil, I think that's how you say it, the active ingredient in Viagra, and they were taking this sildenafil, or this copied version of it, and throwing it into herbal remedies. So that's where the FDA get involved. But things like label claims, normally it was certainly ads. It's going to be the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, the advertising guys, who are going to get you if you start hoodwinking customers with claims such as increase memory by 37%, double your IQ, add 3 inches to your penis. It's those guys that are going to come and have you for that, especially if you're making a lot of money off it. And they're probably pretty tougher than the FDA. So be careful here. The FDA, I've worked with the FDA. They had an issue with something I did have on the website. I had 100% safe and effective written down. And they didn't like that. And they rightly said, you don't know the whole world's medical history. And I think they were saving that for the vaccine. That was 100% safe and effective, wasn't it? Anyway, for me, I wasn't allowed to say it. They were very polite, very helpful, and just said, "Mark, you can't say this. You please remove it, and we'll give you 72 hours. If the FTC start knocking your door, you got a problem." That's more advertising related, but let's just bring it back to this label, the second area we can screw up. So we've got the formula, now the label. Now, basically on a label, you manufacture it, even if it's a custom, you can dictate directions for use if you know better. But if you just said, "Here's my formula," they will look at it, and the formula checker will probably just give you some standard information. Here's the supplement facts. We've put the Latin names in. We've done the milligram percentages of the RDA, the recommended daily amounts, and they'll give you that completed supplement facts box. And they'll likely give you the directions for use and the FDA disclaimer, etc. So basically what we get in that label is the middle section. And that's where we got to try and do some selling. And by the way, I notice a lot of people these days are going for this minimalist look, and they're going for small lettering. You are stupid. I thought about accessibility until my eyesight went. Now, accessibility is my number one thing when building a formula, a brand, or not a formula, but a brand, a label, etc. Font sizes are too small. So many products I have in here, certainly the fitness and weight nutrition products I got. I can't read a damn thing of them, even with my glasses on. So minimalist might look cool, but you're missing a trick here. If people can't read it, they're not going to understand it. And if people don't understand something, they're not going to buy it because they're not going to see value in it. All right. So don't think, "Oh, it looks so cool." Get your font sizes big enough, even if aesthetics are destroyed, so that your perfect average client can read the damn thing. I saw someone come out with a memory formula for seniors targeting 65 plus, and they'd use like font size 6. I don't even know what this thing is. Is that a scribble? Get the letters nice and big. Now, on that intersection, once we've given thought to accessibility, you can put in 3 claims. I like to put 3 claims, and I like to put down ingredients. So I might put ashwagandha relaxation support. Now, it's important here on a dietary supplement label, the rules are with the FDA that we're not allowed to make any claim of improvement or betterment over human default baseline. So if you were to say something like improve, well, that would suggest you're going to go beyond baseline, and that's not allowed. Improve memory by 37%. And you've never run a test on that formula as a whole in relation to memory to come up with the 37%. So you're going to get caught out on 2 statements there, the improve memory and the 37%, the unqualified stat or whatever result that we know was never taken or measured. What we got to remember instead is that this is a dietary supplement designed to supplement the diet, to top up. So the language we're allowed to use on the front of our label would be assist, supports, maintains, aids. These are the sort of words may assist a healthy memory. That's no problem there at all. But the improve, the double your IQ, increase, better. You're not allowed to say anything like that, and you're not allowed to suggest that, this product might help people overcome an illness or disease. And I actually had on the front of a sleep formula once aids, rest, and recovery. No problem there, right? No real claim. But the manufacturer, the GMP manufacturer, kicked me back on the word recovery. And they said, you're not using recovery. I said, I am. Here's three clinical studies that show a great night's sleep aids muscle recovery. And they said, we don't care, Mark. We're not printing a label that has the word recovery on, because in the FDA's eyes, that is insinuating to someone that doesn't read fully or doesn't understand it fully that this could help them recover from the disease or illness we know as insomnia. And it's like, damn it. So a GMP manufacturer will help you with your claims. Don't go too crazy, but I do like to put 3 claims on the front of my labels. And the reason I do like to put these in is because I get to name drop an ingredient such as ashwagandha relaxation support. And why do I want to get ashwagandha on the front of my bottle and ruin that minimalist aesthetic? Because there's people out there, 2 groups. One, well, there's a lot of groups of people, but there's a couple of groups that I think about when I'm doing this. And the first one would be those rare few that can't pronounce the word. What? Phosphatidylserine. Oh, that sounds legit. So already just by putting in an ingredient with a big fancy name can make it sound more medical. You know, when you read some of these drug boxes and you're like, oh, I'm out of my depth here trying to understand this. And that can tip you over and make it seem like a more credible product. But the main reason I do it is because there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to take the time to read the formula. They're too busy reading the benefits of the product and trying to work out whether what you're saying on the website is legit and this product actually is going to work for them. Excuse me 1 second. So the reason I put ashwagandha relaxation support on there is because some people may have heard of it. If you're a woman and you've checked out the top 3 supplements women should be taking, for example, you will find ashwagandha somewhere in the 3 on nearly every single list, certainly the 10 or 15 I've looked at. It's always there. And a lot of ladies, for example, will have heard of this. So the reason I put it on the front is because I might have that 3% of people that go, ashwagandha relax. Oh, ashwagandha. I keep reading about this damn ingredient. And I was sort of, shall I go for this product? And I'll tell you what, if it's got ashwagandha, I've heard so much about it. Let's go for it. And they might buy it, might tip them over the edge. Some of these ingredients they've heard of. All right. So, and in the bodybuilding world and the nootropics market, you would be a fool because those two, not to list ingredients, because those two, your 3 choice ingredients on the front of the label, because those markets do know their formulas. The nootropics market, actually, they're not interested in what you've got to say on your website. They're going straight to the supplement facts, and they know they're looking for 500 milligrams of alpha GPC choline, or they're looking for 30 milligrams of Noopept. And you could argue the same with the bodybuilding world. They are looking for their 1 to 2 grams of creatine in the pre-workout, and they're looking for their L-arginine in their post or their protein or whatever it might be. You know, those guys know. So get a couple of things on the front of the label that should help you out. Now, the third area we can screw up on is, and by the way, I say this because a GMP manufacturer will play backstop on that label. And if you have made a mistake and put increased, double, or you've made a suggestion of treating or curing or diagnosing an illness or disease, a GMP manufacturer will backstop you. And you want that because if you've done 1,000 bottles and you got a claim and they're half asleep because you got non-GMP, you could have the FDA knock your door with an email, as I got, saying, hey, that label, you can't sell that. And we want all 1,000 labels peeled off those bottles this weekend if you're to sell another one. And that's a hell of a job, I can tell you. So don't go wild on your claims. You're better going wild with your claims on your website because those can be changed easily. I can get a website claim like 100% safe and effective changed in a minute. It takes longer than a minute peeling 1,000 labels off once that claim has been printed on that label. Now, the third area, the website, you're on your own here, really. The GMP lab is not going to come and audit your website for you to help you out. But based on the rules we've got for the label, it's essentially the same. What I would say here is in this world of supplements, there are three kings or queens. You've got the FDA, the FTC, and then you've got the payment processor. And to a degree, I would say that the real, apex head honcho person at the top there would probably be the payment processor. And I'll tell you why. This is in relation to website claims. The reason the payment processor is the king or queen is because there are only so many, and they are not going to work with you, and they don't want to work with you. Most payment processors hate supplement sellers and want nothing to do with them. And the reason they hate it is the wild claims and the resulting large number of clawbacks. The old I don't recognize this transaction. The endless refund request disputes that are set up because we've said add 3 inches to your penis, and 6 months later nothing's happened. So the website claims you've got to be careful. And I always advise this on day one, your payment processor will be checking you out. I went over to Stripe and 12 months, I didn't think anything of it. 12 months later, I get an email from Stripe saying, hey, Mark, we just wanted to let you know you've come round for an audit and review, and we're going to be assessing whether we wish to continue working with you. And I'm like, what? And if you lose, say, PayPal, and maybe you've lost Google Pay. There's only like 7 or 8 of these payment processors, unless you want to start paying 10% transaction fees or whatever. There's only a handful of these. And once you start losing them, you are like a cat with 9 lives. And you need to be very careful. If you can't take money, you ain't in ecom. Never mind supplements. You can't do nothing. And it's back to the 9 to 5 and get your CV polished up and off you go. So I panicked. I'm like, what do you mean you're auditing me? I've been with you a year. So I sat down and I thought, damn, this is why my one shot. If they say no, I'm now going to have to start going to someone else. And we start moving down into not subprime, but as I say, crazy transaction fee rates, etc. So I wrote to them. I said, "Dear Stripe, I'm a little bit shocked, but and I said to them, we don't set the world on fire here. I've stopped advertising because I do everything around a community now. I'm email marketing, newsletters, and stuff. So we're not trying to set the world on fire, but what we're doing is serving a group of people that have been 11 years with this site. And you'll notice on my website, we don't make any wild claims. There's nothing crazy here. I hope you've noticed that I've put citations linking to clinical studies wherever we've made a claim. I have not suggested my product may help with relaxation. What I've said is that the ashwagandha in my product may assist with relaxation, as you can see in this study here with the citation. So I'm not, trying to mislead people saying my product has never gone to a clinical trial for its effect on relaxation, but ashwagandha in my product has gone through many clinical studies and has proven results. And so we can lean on that. And I said to him, we're not doing a lot here, but more importantly, you'll notice in the last year, I've had a handful of refund requests. That's it. We don't make wild claims, and therefore what people get is what they think they're getting. The 5 that have come through and said we want our money back, I know 4 of these people. They ask, like, can I try some other products and get my money back? I have a very tight relationship, and we're not ever going to upset anyone here. We're about getting the result, or they get their money back. And I pair that, by the way, just so you know, I pair that with a 1-year guarantee on every site. I'll get into that into another video, but I did test 30 days, 60 days, 90, 180, and 365. I tested each one for 3 months, and the 1 year outpulled everyone else in both. Believe it or not, the refund, the guarantee length's effect on conversion rate, the guarantee length's effect on average spend, did a bigger guarantee, give people more confidence to buy the 12-month pack, for example. But the elephant in the room, what was the guarantee length's effect on refund requests? Believe it or not, the year was best, even on that last one. With a year guarantee, most people just kept putting it off, I guess. I'll tell them Monday I want my money back. Oh, I've got another 11 months. I'll do it on Friday. And they keep kicking the can down the road. And then another payday comes in and they're no longer emotionally attached to the money and stuff it. When you give them 30 days, it's like they got a hot potato. And I've taken it for 2 days and I haven't gone limitless yet or written my book. What's going on? I want my money back. So, just slow them down. But anyway, I said, look, I've got a 1-year guarantee and we're the good guys. And Stripe came back to me and said, you know what, Mark, everything you said's fair. We can see you're refunding your customers well. We can see that you've got links to human studies, that you've taken the time to make sure you're not sharing information on the improvements the assistance to relaxation. found in rats. And this is a big one. A lot of people just go and grab a study. These are the 5% that are putting studies on their websites. And even then, it's probably on a rodent or a primate. So make sure you got human studies. Stripe were happy. They said, we'll work with you for another year. We'll see you next year. But so far, all good. And I realized you've got to keep your nose clean. Your payment processor is watching when you start a new website. The last thing I'll say on this, and I have to be very careful here, be very mindful the platform you use to set your website up when you sell supplements. 9 out of 10 videos on this on YouTube here, telling you how to start a supplement company will all mention that platform with the S. I believe the number one rule in business is that the number one rule in business is autonomy. It's ownership. It's whatever you damn well do, make sure you own it. All right. Don't go building a house on land you've rented. Because as soon as the house is done and the tennis court's in and the hot tub's working, you know who's coming back, don't you? How you doing, Mark? Hey, it's the landlord. I'm sorry, man. Nice house. Change your plan. I need that land back. And I've met so many customers that have gone and forgotten the number one rule, autonomy and ownership. And they've gone and built their business on a third-party platform. Amazon might be an example. In terms of the websites, it could be Shopify, for example. And that breaks the first rule of business. If you want to set up any company, you want to roll your sleeves up, do 18 hours a day some days, go to bed with all those hopes and dreams, and you're doing it all teetering on a platform where you have an administrator, I think you're crazy. For me personally, WordPress will WooCommerce. The blind is leading the blind on this revolution where everyone's on this one platform. Oh, but it's got seamless integration. So does WordPress. WordPress has been running God knows what, ATMs and probably live support machines and everything before these other platforms come along. I don't think this old coding is really going to have integration issues. I believe 87% of the world's websites are on WordPress, but with WordPress you have no admin. I could go and I could put up a picture of a machine gun in the header of my WordPress site today, and absolutely nothing will happen other than a downturn in conversion rate due to confusion. Why is there a machine gun in the header? This doesn't make sense. I think their site's broken. If I go onto one of these platforms everyone's using, and I put, especially the one beginning with the S, and I put up a picture of a machine gun in my header on that site today, I got about 11 seconds before the AI algorithm flags the outline of a gun. My shutters come down on my shop. My clients can't buy. I can't get into the back end, even to the email system that's often used with that system to let my clients know there's a problem. And I've just got to sit on my ass and wait for a human review, which with one client took 6 weeks. So don't be foolish. Don't go building businesses on platforms you don't own. Go and build, for me, WordPress with WooCommerce only. No one can touch it. I could sell drugs, guns, traffic small children, and I'll probably end up in jail by the FBI. But if you called me in jail, hey man, how's it been? Yeah, and you called me 7 years later and I said, hey, is my website still up? It would be. Yeah, you idiot. You're selling, it's still got the drugs and guns up on there. Oh, damn it. I should take them down when I get out. No one's pulling the website down because there's no admin with a WordPress. I'll say no more than that. I'll save my horror story for another video, but I don't believe in teaching anything I've not tested. So I did go and test the site with the S. Biggest mistake I ever made. And the result was I lost my PayPal. They send you off for all sorts of audits, FDA, payment processor. You'll be lucky if you come out the other end with a website that will convert. The only way you can get your website cleared from that admin team is if you literally put nothing on your site. A couple of stupid pictures, the bottle photoshopped on the woman's hand at a weird angle, and the bottle on its back with the millennial style Instagram yellow background and the botanical leaves sprinkled around it and nonsense like that. And then you'll get 2 paragraphs of fluff. That's it. And I say to people, you shouldn't be on these platforms. If you want a proper product page, it's going to let our clients know what it is, what it's going to do for them. What are the 3 key backbone ingredients in the formula that are doing it? What is the science linked to these 3 ingredients? Who's it best for? how to take it, what's the timeline results with 4 sections immediately, within 1 month, within 6 months, and then continual use, etc. What are the other ingredients in there? How to take it. I think I've said that one. And then case studies from clients who've got the result, etc. You want a proper product page. My product pages are 2,500 words. Now, not everyone's going to get through it, but I still believe if you're dealing with health supplements in the over 40s, they don't need that. These people don't want their health advice delivered by a 13-year-old life coach on TikTok in, a 7-minute video. A lot of us oldies like to get our glasses, like to read, like to reread the line we misunderstood, make some notes and really know what we're getting into here. And with certain website platforms that everyone seems to be using, those product pages are just not laid out for that. And you're just not going to have a good time. And people say, well, why are all the big brands on that one then, Mark? AG1 and all these guys. And it's because these guys don't need a website. They literally need a shoebox to put your money in. Why? Because they got 10,000 influencers that have been bought in on the get paid by promoting our product. They've got 10,000 websites out there in the form of humans, influencers wearing the AG1 top and promoting the brands. They literally just need a cart for you to check out in. We don't have 10,000 influencers. What we've got is about 5 to 10 people on average hitting our site every night. And all we've got is our words to let them know what it's going to do and what it's going to do for them and how incredible their life's going to look and how they can get it. All right, so be mindful with your website. You need to put some quality time into that website and don't go building businesses on platforms where you have admins. Okay, I've had people kicked off Amazon doing $200,000 a month with one product. And the reason the Amazon kicked them off was because due to the success of their products and the fact that Amazon were going to go and replicate the product under their new Elements range. So we get onto certain e-com platforms and we're like, yeah, I've got an Amazon business, I've got an eBay business, and you don't realize you don't have any business at all. You are a commission salesperson, and I hope you enjoy it while it lasts. And if it gets good, get ready to do something else, because if you do the that's all we are, market researchers on these platforms. We come along with our product and the platform watches, and we have a really great result and do a load of life-changing money in terms of sales, and then they'll come along and say, thanks for identifying another winning product. Get lost and you're back to filling out a CV and going back to the 9 to 5. So be smart, use these platforms, get your products up there. And I'll save this for another video, but make sure that you're doing the fulfillment, you're sending out the orders, because with a lot of these platforms, if you stand your stock to them and let them send it, they are not going to tell you who your customer is. Why? Because it ain't your customer, it's theirs. Remember that. I'll say no more. Okay. Inquire regarding manufacturer shipping your orders or find a 3PL. We'll just finish off on this label thing because it is the big question. The manufacturer, once you've deposited, will ask who's doing the label. And it is a good little money spinner for the manufacturer to do your design of your label. And they will want to do it for a couple of extra $100. But my advice is you never, ever, ever touch them. There's a big manufacturer in Utah. And sometimes I can look at a bottle label just out there on the internet and I can go, I know who designed that label. That came out of that manufacturer in Utah, because you have the same 2 or 3 creative brains. And I've worked with these guys and introduced 80 odd clients to them, and I've overseen their labels, and I can see every time it's the same damn thing. So little crappy leaf icon, they'll do that for you. The little leaf icon, they'll call it something like Vita Health, Vita Farm, whatever. And they'll just do the same old, same old. What I want to do is go and find someone who I want to come offline and go, not offline, but off away from them. And I want to go and find a freelancer who is relatively new, 50 completed orders, but with full 5-star feedback. They're new, meaning they're hungry and they want your business, and they'll probably over deliver, but they've got full 5 stars in the few orders they've done, meaning they care. And I'm going to slow them down, and I'm going to go to that designer and I'm going to say to them, hey, listen, couple of things. The first is I'm going to take them 3 bottles I really like. I told you at the beginning of this video that the importance of building a business that what's the word? That screams care, exudes, of whatever the word is. You want to build a business that screams care, and you want to make sure that you love it. Imagine you're at a trade show in 12 months time and you've got all your supplements there, and you see someone from the past, an ex-lover or your old boss or whatever. One of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to be like, John, John, this is me. Yeah, I did it. Or you're going to be like, oh God, it's John, because you're embarrassed about the crap you threw together. So if I'm going to build something, I've come to understand building it to the point where I love it and building a piece of crap I don't care about, it takes roughly the same amount of time. So I'm going to go to my freelancer and I'm going to say this. Here are three products I really like. Please take inspiration. Don't copy, but if I've got curved edges rather than straight, excuse me, I've got curved edges rather than straight edges. If I've got a gradients in all three design, give me a gradient. Give me curved edges. Just take tips, but don't leave your freelancer or your label designer with a blank canvas because they'll probably default to a template they haven't used for a couple of weeks and you'll get something that looks crappy. Help them as well. I design labels for people and for my own supplement brands, and I enjoy it very much. It's like a hobby. And I always say, send me three websites. It doesn't need to be supplements. It could be a bottle of window cleaner or a football kit. But if you like the colors and the fonts, I can take inspiration from that. The second thing we want to do is make sure that we tell our customer, our freelancer, our label designer, who our perfect average client is. Now, why would we do that? Well, I'll tell you. Listen, I want you to do me a label. Okay, so you're going to do me a memory label, and we're targeting. Well, I won't tell you. Just do me a memory label. So off you go. Right, Mark wants a memory formula label. Okay, I'll do white because we're going to be selling to 70-year-olds, and 70-year-olds probably want to see as close to medical, doctor referred as possible. So we won't go funky colors. We'll keep it white. And then I'll just inject a little bit of silver or platinum because it's the old people's color. Platinum wedding anniversaries, and these guys literally smell of platinum. So a little bit of platinum, and you'll go, there you go, Mark, I did it. And I'll look at it and I'll go, no, what the hell have you done? This isn't a memory product for 70-year-olds. This is a memory formula for 17-year-olds. This is a study buddy. It's going to be bought and purchased by students, and this label ain't going to cut it. This needed to be black and neon, like a gamer fuel. These kids are going to be carrying this around campus. And if it looks like some geriatric old supplement bottle, no one's going to buy it. The friends are going to laugh at them, and I got a dead product. Now, who screwed up? Did you screw up or did I? Well, I'll tell you, it was me. You've done a great job. And 9 times out of 10, that white with the silver would have probably been a perfect label if we were pitching this memory formula to 70-year-olds. But because I was too lazy to let you know I was targeting 17-year-olds, you've gone and created 180-degree different to what I needed. Do you see what I mean? So that's why we slow the process down a little bit and just make sure our design is dialed in. You wouldn't believe the number of people that meet me and they say, we've got a label already. And I say, can I see it? And I say, what do you think of it? And they say, well, we're a little bit underwhelmed, to be honest. Yeah, go and get some inspiration for your designer. Go and show them things you like and slow that process down and give them an overview. And then they'll be able to design something. Rule number one, rule number two, they'll be able to create a label that resonates with both you, because you've got to care about this business and be proud of it, but more importantly, your perfect average client. Now, here we come into so what we're going to do with the labels is we're going to get our label guide person to create the label, and then we send it to the manufacturer, and you will go into production. Now, if you're on a custom, we've already said that's going to take roughly 10 to 12 weeks. And if you're on a private label formula, well, they're already made. So that's just a case of you getting in the queue, your label being approved, ready for print. Check that it matches the FDA guidelines. And you will be looking at about 2 to 3 weeks before finally your labels and bottles go down the conveyor belt and get put together ready for sale. Excuse me. With the drop shipping, again, there's no conveyor belt, there's nothing. So you're ready to sell from the moment you have the labels done. Can take a couple of weeks at a maximum. That's pretty fast. Right, let's get into this bit, the create bit. So register business name and trademark. I see a lot of people not give thought to a proper brand name. What they'll do is they'll go and call it something that's close to their heart, or they might name it after a loved one, or if they're real idiots or morons, they'll go and call it something that's just going to put the average client off, like Supplement Profits LLC or some nonsense like that. Now, when choosing a brand name, you really want it to double down on the niche. Okay, so if you're doing fat loss supplements, I would rather buy, as tacky as this name is, I would rather buy from Fat Away LLC than I would Supplement Profits LLC. But even if you just took that we didn't go so extreme with the name, and we just came back a little bit and did something like, I don't know, let's find something here. Let's just say we called it uh Heartimus out there. We called it Heartimus Supplements. It doesn't mean anything. Heartimus is a place. So we called it Heartimus Supplements. Well, would that be as good on our fat loss company as calling it, Fat Away Supplements or whatever it is? That's a terrible name. I need the four W's to come up with a good name. That is a weekend, wine, weed, and a whiteboard. I can't do it in real time, and I should have prepared. But again, I'm not scripted here, so forgive me. But make sure if you're in the fat loss market, make sure your name for your brand, not the product name, but the business name, resonates and just doubles down. If you don't double down on what you claim to be doing, you're missing a trick, because I want people to land on the website, see the brand name, and go, oh my God, I'm home. Thank God. Erectile dysfunction is us. LLC. Oh, thank God. These guys can fix my issue. But if it's some wishy-washy name, whatever, John's Supplement Company, you're just missing a trick. And when I read John's Supplement Company, I think it's John. When I read, something else like Fat Away, I think, well, that's a tacky name and you could have done better. But I do imagine there's a laboratory, probably a receptionist, there's a scientist somewhere walking around. And these guys, they've probably got some nutritionists, maybe a couple of ex-retired personal trainers. And these guys, at least I'm going to assume, are in that industry. And that's already going to give me more confidence than if your brand name was just something generic or something that meant something to you, but nothing to me, the consumer and customer. Don't forget that. Now, register the business name and trademark it, and product name. Really, I need to work on this. That should be changed, but it should say register if you can, or trademark the business name and product name. Now, if you only had, I get this question quite a bit, Mark, I've only got X amount of money. It's around 350, 400 a shot to register one of these. Which one would you do first? And everyone seems to think the brand name. The brand name is the least of your concern. Basically, most people, even if they want your brand name, will not take it if they can't get the .com. There's so many different iterations and permutations and nuances of a name that if the .com's gone, oh, stuff it. I wanted that name, but I'll play on it and they'll get somewhere close. Most people will not be in a position, most people won't write to you. They certainly won't be in a position to offer you 10 grand for that name. So if you've got the .com, I would say registering that trademark, it needs to be done and it should be done. But that would take second place to getting a product name registered. Now, why, Mark? Well, because people aren't buying your brand. I don't go into the chemist and say, do you have Johnson & Johnson? I go in and I say, whatever one of their products is. Do you have what do they do? The soap or the baby powder or something? Do you have the baby powder or whatever? Do you have aspirin? Do you have Tylenol? I don't know who these manufacturers are of these drugs, but we remember the product name because it's the product that got us the solution, not necessarily the company. People remember the company name in 6 to 12 months. If you created a really great monthly newsletter and you've started to help them with advice on their ailment, then they'll start to know you. But for now, they'll just remember the product. And the product is the one they're going to be talking about. And when it comes to creating a product name, by the way, make the product name meaningful and unique. Do not, the number of idiots I see that will go and buy ashwagandha and they'll call it ashwagandha. What? So let's say you do the perfect job, right? I'm out in the middle of nowhere on the interwebs and I might be on some site and somehow you caught my attention with an ad. Just get lost. I'm trying to look at boobies on Instagram. Well, hang on a minute. That does look good. Ashwagandha. Oh, I'm stressed right now and I shouldn't even be wasting time on Instagram. I should be working, but I've got so much in my head. Let's have a look. And I clicked the ad. You did a great job. You stopped the pattern interrupt. You created a pattern interrupt to stop me scrolling. Your picture caught my attention. The headline grabbed my attention. The body text created curiosity, and the call to action button, well, I just couldn't not click it. So I get there onto your website, and guess what? You're one of the 5% that's done an incredible job on the product page, telling me what it is and what it's going to do for me and what are the 3 key ingredients doing it, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? At the end, I've been stung so many times, but you've done such a good job. I believe you. Check out, and I buy it. And guess what? Because it's not all in your hands. That bit's in your hands, but now it's down to the formula to get me the result. But it does. It arrives. I take it 10 days later. I'm feeling amazing. I'm calm, relaxed, and I go down to the bar tonight. You have literally done everything right. So I go down to the bar, and my guys are like, hey, man, you all right? You look good. You're a lot better than last time we saw you. I say, boys, listen, I feel amazing. All that anxiety and all that, that stress, it's gone. It's gone. I found this amazing product online, right? There's this people selling it. It's incredible. You've got to go to the website, okay? And my friends are going to say, what's it called? And I'm going to say, ashwagandha. Good luck, my mates, finding your website for a generic term, an ingredient word, ashwagandha. So even if you did everything right, which is going to be 1% of the time, and you got people out there telling their friends, leveraging old school word of mouth, they couldn't even find their way back to your website because you didn't slow it down for 5 minutes. You didn't get the wine, the weed, the whiteboard, and spend the weekend working out a couple of different unique names. And that's what you need to do. Every product of mine has a very unique name. And I don't care if you're drunk from the bar when you got referred and you come home in the dark, got fattest fingers in the world and you mistype. Even if you got 3 letters of the 8 in one of my product names wrong, it's so unique. It's going to be on page 1 of Google for that term. There's nothing else like it. And that's what we want. You'll be on page 527 for ashwagandha. So get creative. And if you need help, use a thesaurus. Thesaurus.com. Some people, I talk to foreigners or non-native English speakers, and they don't know what a thesaurus is. And I speak a couple of foreign languages myself, and I don't think I'll ever learn what that word is in that language. So I'll tell you a thesaurus. We've got a dictionary where we look up a word online and it will tell you what the word means. A thesaurus is where we put a word in and it will give us alternate words. Thesaurus, spelled the saurus, as in Tyrannosaurus. I nearly said dinosaurus. Right. So the thesaurus, the other day I went to the thesaurus and I typed in sleep. I was trying to do a new name for a sleep formula. And I won't tell you the second part of the name, but it's actually a formula I'm working on for a client. So I go and type in sleep to the thesaurus, and the first word it comes up with, and this is a ladies' brand as well, is slumber. Oh, and I love that word. I love slumber. It's such a great word. It says sleep, but it says cozy. It says warm. It says it's just a lovely word. So we've incorporated the word slumber as one part of the 2-part name for that product. Use the thesaurus, get creative, ask your friends for ideas, but make sure that name is unique so that if people are referring or they come to love the product, it's memorable enough they can find their way back to your website without having to meander through a Google search where they're going to have at least 4 ads for your competitors. And you're probably going to be down on page 2 or something if they don't know it 100%. Now, why should we get the product name once we've created one trademarked before the brand name? Because if you want to put a product on certain platforms today, I believe Amazon, I believe TikTok Shop, they are now insisting on a trademarked product name. Trademark on the brand is not important, but they want to see a trademark on the product name. You will also find this at one point, and this is the real reason to go for the product name. I think I was only at $10,000 a month when I first got my first hit from a competitor. And what happened was a lot of my traffic was, I woke up one day and my traffic was gone, 80% of it just gone. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And this, I didn't know what was going on. And I'd been running, I'll be honest, I've been running ad blockers for a little time. So I did all my searches and I was like, what? Where is all my traffic gone? And we were so consistent, and then boom. So I decided, let's go into a browser without the ad blocker. I opened up a new browser. This was 3 days later. I'd exhausted all other options, checking the website, checking test orders. Can we check out? Yeah, what's going on? But the traffic was down. It wasn't even a conversion issue. And then I found it. Right above my website on page 1 of Google was a single ad, and it mentioned my product name, and it said, thinking of buying this product, scam warning. And this was what we call a bait and switch. Okay, a bait and switch is basically where a scumbag competitor will put an ad above the search term people are searching for, your product name, and as soon as they get it, they'll see that ad and it's going to suggest that this could hurt them. And you click the ad, whoa, do not buy this product. Let me see what this is about. And you click, and they will go and tell within a paragraph some nonsense like avoid this supplement. It's got ginkgo biloba in, which 10,000 years ago was linked to toenail cancer in goldfish, or some nonsense like that. However, our editor's choice winner doesn't have ginkgo, and they'll just do a bait and switch, bait them in and then switch them to their product. That is a competitor running an ad trying to siphon your traffic. And if you've got a trademark brand name, that's right, I said it right, so a trademark brand, a business name, you ain't got no comeback. But if you've got the trademark product name, which is what they'll be putting in the ad because they're trying to trigger that keyword that people are searching for. If you've got that product name, you can have that ad pulled down. I went to Google and I said, look, these guys are siphoning 80% of my traffic off. I need some help. And they said, do you have a trademarked product name? It's like, I do. It's illegal for anyone to run an advert on Google on a trademark name they do not own. Do they have your permission? They absolutely do not. And within 45 minutes, their ad was pulled down and I was back. So without trademarking your product name, you can't get on these big e-com platforms you probably want to get on. And you could have people siphoning your traffic off. You're paying marketing and then they're reaping the rewards with a bait and switch ad, one of these crappy fake review sites, whatever it might be. So get your product name registered first, but ultimately get both registered, trademarked eventually if the money's there. Alrighty, send label to man. Yeah, we've done all that. Have we pay for? Okay, no. So pay for supplements with custom. You're going to pay 50% up front. And then you've got the 3-month build time to save or, get together the rest of the money, the 50% balance. With private label, you will pay the full amount because we're usually dealing with something like 150 bottles minimum order quantity. It's a much smaller amount, usually less than 4 figures. So they will want it all up front. And with Dropship, as you know, you'll usually pay just a signing on fee, $300, $200 to get access to the catalog. And then you'll pay a monthly subscription of $99 and then pay as you go on any supplement sold. Fine label design. Yeah, we've done that bit. Send label to yep, you've sent it to the manufacturer and they've approved it. So it comes on to phase 3 now. We got, let's say if we were custom 3 months and if we're with private label, we got 3 weeks. But basically we need to build a website. We've already touched on some of this, and I think I'm going to save this for another video. So basically, for me, as I've already said, just to summarize, I like to go WordPress or WooCommerce because for me, from what I can see, it's one of the only platforms I don't have an administrator. It's just whatever I say on that website is between me and the law, be that the police, the FBI, the FTC, the FDA, whatever. But I know the law. There's a book and rules that I can stick to. So I'm happy with WordPress and WooCommerce. What I don't want is to go and rent some space on a platform, start building blogs and forums and getting all my merch up there, and then know at any day it could be taken away. Do not go and build this golden ATM, this cash machine that's just spitting cash at you and changing your life, but knowing that it's plugged into the outlet of another person's business, Jeff Bezos or Shopify or whatever. How's my cash machine doing this month, Jeff? Yes, it's all right, Mark. There you go. Thanks, Jeff. I hope I get some more next month and you don't kick me off. So be mindful there. WordPress or WooCommerce. Hire sales copywriter. I believe your sales copy is one of the most important things. Do not get ChatGPT to write your sales copy. I love ChatGPT and it's really great for getting you close to the mark on things, but proper sales copy needs to be written by a proper human being who can step into the shoes of that perfect average client for at least 5 minutes and understand their needs, wants, frustrations, etc. Now, I was taken on by, the reason I know all this stuff is because I was mentored, and a lady came to me. This is a funny story. She came to me and we bumped into each other. We were talking, networking event type thing. And she said, you sound like a really good sort of speaker and sales guy. Could you do it with the old text? And I'd never heard of supplements, at that point. I mean, I was taking a couple, and she said, I'm in supplements. And if you want to come and work with me and do this page, I'll show you the supplement industry. We got close, started working together. I started rewording her websites, getting in conversion rate increases of 0.5%, 0.6%, which wasn't setting the world on fire, but on her traffic, it put another $400,000 a month into the, $400,000 a year into the back end of the business. Just a 0.6 conversion rate increase on enough traffic will financially do some wonderful things for you. So she was super happy and she said, I want to keep getting more work out of you. And I'll teach you everything about the supplement industry. And she changed my life as a result. Thank you, V. So this is why I'm now giving this to you. But on that first assignment, she said, I've got this herbal Viagra site and I want you to reword it. So, having studied a little bit of neuro-linguistic programming and understanding sort of externalization, visualization, stepping into the shoes of your perfect average client or another person, and all this wonderful stuff, I thought, right, I need to become a guy who suffers from erectile dysfunction. That's what we're selling on this page. Now, I hadn't had it myself at that point, so I didn't know, but I could imagine what my life would be like if this thing suddenly stopped working. So I sat there, and this is essentially NLP, neuro linguistic program. I went home, I sat at my desk, I got post it notes, and I stepped into the shoes of a man who could no longer get an erection. So I tipped my head first thing, get our physiology to match our mental state, or change our physiology to change our mental state. Just kept my head down, and I got pen and paper, and I wrote the first thing: I can't get an erection. And I had the monitor there, and I stuck the post it note on the monitor. And it might make you laugh, you might be chuckling there. Unless it's first thing in the morning, you might be thinking, gross. But basically, what I had to do was just become this man, because I could not reach him through my words until I was him. Then I knew his pain points, what would motivate him to buy, and what he needed to hear to overcome those objections he was creating in his head as to why he shouldn't buy. So I can't get an erection. My wife is starting to look at other men. I think she's been talking to my best friend. My son suspects I have a problem and is not talking to me like the man in the house anymore. I put all this post-it notes up. It was funny. I was in Thailand, and the Thai police like to have a giggle. Usually, if a foreigner takes his life, they might go and tell the press it was because of a broken heart due to a ladyboy. Thai police have been known to have a little bit of fun, and I did think, if I have a heart attack right now and they just find me at the desk, they're not going to autopsy me. They're just going to say this guy had to check out because he had an issue with his penis, and that's going to be front page. Foreigner can't take it anymore. Erectile dysfunction got to him, so I quickly got the work done and pulled the post-it notes down. Anyway, being able to step into the shoes of that man and understand his frustrations and just write them down. Ooh, I kind of felt the pain for a moment, and I was a lot closer to writing, and I could write from the heart. So really, if you go and use ChatGPT that's never experienced this or can't imagine what it's like to experience some of these issues we're trying to fix, not fix, shouldn't say that, some of these issues we're trying to assist and support, then it's got to be down to you or a great copywriter, someone that's going to take the time to understand that client, their needs, and what they need to hear on that website. Copywriter, most important. Developer, second. Graphics, third, in that order. We don't want too clunky a user interface. It's very hard if you're just using WordPress, but I'd still say I'd suffer a slightly clunky website with an extra step in the checkout process, but damn good words, because if you got really sold into something, I don't care if it takes me 17 clicks to check out. I'm going to go through them all because I damn well want it. Whereas weak copy, even with an easy user interface, and I can check out in 1 or 2 clicks. If the copy's weak, I'm not even interested in buying anyway. So sales copy, number one. Development on the website, get it a nice flow and smooth, get people moving around the site easily. And then finally, graphics is the last thing. One thing I'll say on graphics, I don't know why, but I have never seen anyone put a picture of a bloody human being up on their website. Can we please stop filling our website up with pictures of bottles and little botanical leaves? We're not selling botanical leaves. We're selling better versions of our customers, our site visitors. And they don't want to see a botanical leaf. They want to see a pile of matcha or green tea or ashwagandha. They want to see someone who they believe was stressed to the max, looking calm and relaxed, because that's what our person's buying. I don't see any pictures of people up anymore. So get that done. We're not selling supplements. We've got to remember this. The supplement is not what people are buying. Okay. Someone said to me once, Mark, did you know no one ever wanted an electric drill? Never needed an electric drill. We shouldn't even have electric drills. You know, an electric drill. I said, what are you on about? We need electric drills. We need holes in the walls. She said, exactly. No one's ever needed a drill, Mark, but they have needed a hole in the wall. And for that reason, we have the drill. Without the hole in the wall and the need for it, there'd be no need for a drill. The problem is everyone sells the drill, forgetting that the person on the website wants to know about the hole. So rather than talk about how the drill's made from 6,000 grade aluminium, as was the space shuttle, you know, talk about how the drill is going to, is going to put a hole in that wall so clean you won't need to hoover up afterwards. Instead of talking about how the drill spins at 6,000 RPM, Talk about the fact that this drill is going to put a hole in that wall so pure that the picture's going to hang for 25 years guaranteed. And if it drops within 25 years, not only we would refund you the price of the drill, but we'll give you $250 towards a new picture or mirror. That's what people are here for. So stop putting pictures of bloody drills all over the website and start putting pictures of holes in walls. What is the hole in the wall for a larger person? It would be themselves carrying less weight, looking more healthy. What would a hole in the wall be for a hair vitamin company that's helping ladies with hair loss? The hole in the wall would be a lady glowing, maybe of age, maybe with a slightly receding hairline, but still beautiful looking hair, and that glow and confidence that comes with knowing I look the very best I can today and I feel great as a result. That's what we're selling. So stop putting pictures of bottles and leaves everywhere and start realizing when I get there on your website and I'm stressed and I can't do this and I can't get an erection, seems to be the topic for this video. I need to see pictures of men picking their ladies up or whatever toxic masculine male chauvinist stuff's going on. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a man. And then you tell me that you want to be back to a man again. You need this product. The copywriting is so important, guys, and understanding your perfect average client's needs and wants and talking only about that. You go to the average Shopify store, the two crappy pictures with the bottle and the botanical leaves, 2 paragraphs of fluff. Take our brain formula and boost brain power. Yeah, great. What the bloody hell's brain power? Do you mean memory? Yeah, memory. Oh, cool. Yeah. Short term, long term, formation, recall, working. What are we doing here? It's all BS and it stinks and people can smell it. So slow your copy down, get into it. What is it? What is it going to do for me? And get some beautiful pictures of people as you imagine they would want to be should they be with you on your supplement for 3 to 6 months. If you're selling a joint formula, don't give me just pictures of bottles and leaves. Give me pictures of seniors with hiking sticks, poles and backpacks out in Yosemite with big smiles on their faces because your formula got them off the couch, got them stop watching the Discovery Channel 18 hours a day. They've brushed the Twinkie crumbs off their man boobs, and they're back out living their senior years because of the supplement, the drill. Don't forget that. God, I get so frustrated with these bloody websites. It's the blind leading the blind here. Right. I watched a 1-hour video on how to do Shopify, drag and drop. I now have a website development agency. Ugh. Morons. Right. Go out and sell. Go out and sell face to face, door to door. I did a year on the phones, 2 years door to door, and 12 years in the used car industry. When you've had people nose to nose with objections, and I've had a couple of people get irate with me during the negotiation stage, that's when you know how to step into the shoes of the client and then write language which will overcome these objections they have, win them back round and get them on site. Do not go and hand over your website build to a 19-year-old who has no life experience, but is now a website designer because they've managed to work out how to drag a logo around the back end of Shopify. Please, guys, this is your salesperson. If you set up a restaurant in New York today and you had the best chef in the world, it wouldn't mean a damn thing, the chef in this metaphor being your supplement. It would mean a damn thing if Gordon Ramsay was in that kitchen. If out the front door on the sidewalk, your front of house guy was picking his nose with his shirt hanging out and dirty shoes, calling everyone mate. All right, mate. All right, darling. God, darling, you look hungry. You look like you like your food. Not a single person will come in and try Gordon's restaurant. But I tell you what, I could have a lesser quality chef, a product that doesn't do quite as well. But if I've got that right person on the front door, in this case, the person is the website. It's the salesperson. Our website is the salesperson. If that person looks immaculate and they're articulate and they're very well spoken, good evening, sir. Good evening, madam. How are you? Looking for something to eat? Because I got something I think is going to blow your mind. And let me show you the menu, and people will go in. It won't be the best chef, but people don't know. People don't know which are the best supplements. People don't know what's going to work for them, but your words have a big part to play in whether they believe that this problem could hold the solution to their ailments and go ahead and give it a try. Remember that. Right. We got our website done. I'm going to do a separate video on websites and I'll show you the layout of a perfect product page, but I just did a video called... No, it's not in that one. I'll do it in another video. Forget that. Right. Let's get back into this. We're nearly there. There's so much more to get into, but I'm going to just keep this video short, however long we've been going now. because this is the A to Z. And if you want to speak to me, you can at any time. Don't forget to hit like on this. This isn't even a request. Just hit bloody like. This world is lacking serious gratitude right now. When someone gives you 2 hours of their time to help you, you should always say thank you. I'm not after likes for the algorithm I'm after likes so I still believe in humanity. You don't need to subscribe to me. That's a thing that I would like you to do, but don't worry about that. I think you should do it anyway because there's going to be more videos like this. But hit that bloody like button because I've put a lot of effort into this today, or at least some of my time where I could be sat smoking a doobie playing video games instead. But I'm here to help you out. So hit that like button. And if you don't hit it because you don't like me, then hit like if you like your mum. Let's go. Source of payment processor. All right, you've got various types here. The more you can get, the better. Some people, there was years ago in my 20s, I would only use PayPal for whatever reason. I was doing eBay sales and I just used that money. If a website didn't have PayPal, I wouldn't buy. So there are people like that. Now I don't really care. I just use card, checkout, whatever. But get your options in there and you should be okay. Be mindful that that payment processor is working. You need to come into this business with this understanding. We will get the customer the result or we will refund them. That was the thing I came in from day one, and it did me very well. I didn't realize until much later, a year or two ago, when Stripe gave me my audit, and it was that really helped me out. Is that if the client didn't get the result, I would have one go in the email exchange to try and win them around. The number one thing would be that, hey, it's not working. And you look at the order date and you see they've only had it 2 days. So there, I'm not just going to hit refund. What I need to let them know is this is not the Limitless movie. You're not going to pop this thing and start, doubling your IQ. It's a dietary supplement and it takes time to work. So please, my finger is on the refund button and I will hit it anytime you say, but I believe you came here with a problem and I believe I have the solution, and all we're haggling on here is a little bit of time. If you could give this 10 to 14 days, I think you'll get the result from the supplement you came for, but no, my finger is on the refund button. If not, and most people would be cool and they'd say, I'll give it another go. And most people actually would get the result after 10 to 14 days. But on the odd one or two that wouldn't, I hit the refund button. I am not going to upset people and steal people's money. That's just my belief as a human being, and that's my moral compass. But when Stripe came to audit me, my God, did that save my bacon? Did that save my bacon? Because I said, look, I've refunded everyone straight away. There's no disputes. You've never had a dispute. You never had a commission clawback. And they said, Mark, you're right. Keep doing business the right way. And that's what we need in this day and age. All righty. So you're going to get your payment processor. Go careful with those. No wild claims on the site or whatever. You've got 9 lives and you don't want to start losing them. I've already lost one of my lives and it's quite scary. Connect email capture system. We'll go into that another day, but I think it is 100% necessity to get an email opt-in box on the homepage. But I'm going to tell you why in another video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one. Hit the bell notification. But what we basically want to do is I actually capture more emails than I make sales. So what I do is I offer 3 ebooks plus 2 $10 gift codes and right now, if you give me your email address. So I'll get people that want the ebooks and they want the codes for later, but it might not be payday, or they're still day one and they just want to go and look at the competitors. But I'll get a lot more people sign up for the email than check out. And then what happens is I get these emails every now and again. It'll say, hey, Mark, I came onto the website like 3 months ago. I loved what you were doing, but it was day one, or I didn't have the money right now, but I downloaded the ebooks. I got to read and hear from you more, can see you really care. And I just want to let you know, today my money came in, I got paid, or I made a decision and I've just bought 3 bottles. And really what happens there is because they opt in, they get 3 hits of the newsletter if it's 3 months. They opt in and every 4 weeks on payday comes out a nice newsletter with 1 article, usually a competition asking their advice on the business. What could we do better out of these 3 products? Which one would you like first, etc. And I throw out bottles for the winners. I bribe them to take part. And then usually you have a discount code and they'll get that, say 2-3 times before they may be ready, but it's killing them with kindness. They get to see, hey, I've got focus and attention issues. Being on Mark's email list, cool. It's not corporate. He comes, hey, it's Mark, guys. He's usually got his tattoos and showing me, and he's not there in a shirt and tie trying to put up these smokers and mirrors. He's just a real guy suffering like me, but he's managed to work out a way to train in the gym with ADHD. He's managed how to work out how to run a business, build a business and actually run it with ADHD. And that's the things I want to learn. So that guy's going to stay with me And then eventually he'll come forward and say, you know what, I give in, you win, I'm buying. And I've killed him with kindness. If you don't have that opt-in box on the homepage and an ethical bribe, and we don't need to create an ebook. Actually, those 3 ebooks, I wrote one and my clients wrote the other 2. We'll do that in another video. But I've got a point now where I've got my customers writing content for my customers. That's a community. It means I can get down to the piano bar and enjoy more margaritas. Set up your, I'll do a whole video on the opt-in thing and why it works and the whole email marketing thing another day. Set up relevant social media sites, connect to website, yeah, whatever. Social doesn't have to be done for the sake of doing social. Social should be done if you've got a really good strategy for social, but we'll get into that another time as well. Connect your website to your shipping company or your 3PL, your third-party logistics company. 9 times out of 10, your manufacturer will probably do shipping. So if you ask them, can you ship my orders? They'll probably say, yeah. If they don't, because they're too big on the sales of the supplements and they just don't want to get involved with it, they will always have a preferred partner, what we call a 3PL, a company dedicated to third-party logistics. Connect your website to your shipping company. Now, if you've got the option of going manufacturer or 3PL on day one, I would recommend you always go with the manufacturer. For me, it was so simple. My manufacturer was like grandpa. It's almost like he had a little pencil behind his ear, and every month or whatever, every couple of months, I'll get a little email. How you doing, Marky boy? You got 353 bottles left, and at your current run rate, you should probably be placing the order now. Thanks, Granddad. I appreciate the heads up. Send me the invoice and we'll do another 15, whatever, 3,000 bottles. So it was super simple. Basically, the payment method was my goods would sit in the warehouse there. The best thing about using the manufacturer, first and foremost, is that when your stock's finished, there's no courier fees. It's not the fees I care about, but there's no courier. I had my stock couriered and I'm just sat there like, what if this thing catches fire? What if the lorry crashes on the motorway? And it was like 4 days of just I couldn't sleep. And finally, the supplements got to the 3PL. I crossed states. It was dumb. But anyway, I learned my lesson. People say, Mark, should I find a manufacturer in my hometown? No need whatsoever. You won't see them once. And if you want to see them, they probably won't want to see you. And if they do, it'll be for a cup of coffee. And then they can't wait to get rid of you. And from that point on, you'll just pay via online invoicing. So you'll never see them again. What you should do, however, is make sure that your manufacturer is as close to your shipping company as possible. And the reason we want to make sure our manufacturer is close to our shipping company is so that we don't incur these huge courier fees, but more importantly, our stock doesn't run the risk of getting lost. With Granddad, as it were, and the old manufacturer, they would finish the supplements and someone would wheel it 30 yards, 30 foot, 30 meters, whatever you're dealing. And just down into the warehouse, it'd be stored at the right temperatures and all that cool stuff. Nice and easy. And I didn't have to panic about losing the stock. Again, what does losing stock mean? A 15 grand check you got to write again? Yeah, but that's easy. What it really means is telling your customers they got nothing for 3 months. And I'll tell you, they won't hang around. They will not hang around when you tell them we're going to have nothing for a quarter of a year. So make sure you close the gap between the manufacturer and the shipping center. And the best way to do that is to go with the manufacturer should they ship. Now, questions to ask would be, number one, is there any joining or sign up fee? If they've manufactured for you, it's nearly always going to be no. But I did have one bunch of clowns try and send me an invoice for $1,000 for a connection fee. This is connecting their website, my website, to theirs. It's a 30-second job. You copy and paste a bit of code into the back end of your site and you'll start speaking to theirs. But these clowns wanted $1,000 and we're going to try and hide it behind, oh, we've got a lot of integration to do and all this nonsense. So don't suffer any of that. Usually it should be free if you've built the thing. And those guys that said, we want $1,000, I just came back to them and said, I just spent 15 grand with you. You will never see another dollar from me unless you get rid of this invoice right now. And they did. They grew up, woke up. So is there any BS joining fee? Number two, how much are you going to charge me for storage? Now, I've been charged historically from $6 per product. Now, imagine the back end of IKEA. You go into IKEA and you write down what you want with the pencil and paper, and then you go to the back end warehouse near the tills, and you've got all the racking. That's kind of how these warehouses are. And essentially, one product will be a pallet bay. Okay, so you will have a pallet, and I don't care if there's a box with 12 supplements in that box. It'll be sat there looking like a little lonely loser on a giant pallet, but that's it. They are charging you for that space, even if you've only got 12 bottles left. The space costs usually per pallet or SKU. They work it out per SKU, but think pallet. A SKU is basically a product. So that would be roughly $6 is the lowest I've ever paid per SKU per month, and $30 was the most I ever paid. So one time I had 6 supplements with that, sat in the warehouse, and they were charging me $180 a month for storage. So be mindful of that. It can work out a little bit, certainly at the beginning. $180, you don't need coming out of your bank tomorrow. Not unless you're selling. So next question would be, and I found, by the way, that the manufacturer was the $6. They're always cheap, the manufacturer. It's the 3PLs that charge you a lot more money. They were the $30 a month. Now, the next question would be, how much are you going to charge me per order, Mr. Shipping Company, Mrs. Shipping Company? And basically what happens with the manufacturer is the order will come in the morning, and the warehouse person will look at the order, and they'll see, let's just take a single bottle. They'll see that someone's ordered a bottle. So they'll print off the label, they'll stick it on the envelope, and they'll go down and get a bottle, and they'll drop it in the envelope. And that there is going to cost you roughly $2. Boom. Maybe $2.50. And what we've got there is the labor, the envelope, the print, ink, and the label. And that's all covered. So for that order, you're going to be charged $2.50 plus the shipping. So if the company get charged, and they should be charging whatever they get charged. So if the company get charged $8 to ship it from Utah to New York or whatever, then fair enough. Your bill will be $8 shipping, though you should have charged your customer for that. So really it should be nothing, but you will be $8 shipping, and then you'll have your $2.50 fee. Now, how it normally works with the manufacturers is because that first bottle pays for the envelope and the ink and the label. What will happen on a 3-bottle order is something more like this. $2.50, and then the second and third bottle, $1.50, $1.50. So we'd be looking at what, $5.50 total to get that order out. It's probably going to weigh a little bit more because there's 2 more bottles. So it might be something like $10 to $11. So that order might cost you $20 to get out the door. But again, you should have charged your customer the shipping unless you incentivize them with free shipping on something like an order size of $99 or more to get them up a tier. But it does work out about right. It's about the same with the shipping companies, the dedicated 3PLs. But I have found once you start doing some volume with them, the shipping costs can come down a little bit because being just a shipping company, they've got DHS and USPS and all these guys, DHL or whatever, on their knees. Please use us. And they do get 70-80% off these companies' fees, and they kindly pass on 1 or 2% of that to us, throw us some scraps. I like the manufacturer best, stick with that, but you may need to go to a 3PL in these 2 examples. The first would be your manufacturer is never going to ship products they haven't manufactured. So they'll manufacture your brain formula and they'll ship it for you. But what you can't do is say to them, hey, I've found another formula from someone else. Can I bring 100 bottles in and you ship it for me? They won't. Certainly not if they're a GMP lab, because they don't know what's in those bottles. They didn't make them. It could be cocaine. It could be anything. And they're not just going to be a distributor for you with these sealed supplement bottles, you know, on good faith that what's in there is what's on the supplement facts. So if you wanted to do a custom formula with a manufacturer, but you also saw value in going to a private label and just getting 200-300 bottles of a couple of other products, because that would give you the illusion of a bigger store, might make you look like experts in the niche, would also open you up to allow bundles and systems such as the AM and PM formula, you know, the PM sleep formula with the AM energy formula. You might not be able to afford 2 custom formulas to do that, but there's plenty of private label sleep formulas out there. There's also plenty of private label energy formulas. So you might want to do the sleep, you know, the energy as a custom, and then, well, I can't afford another 10 grand or 5-6 grand. So what I'll do is I'll just go out and get a private label sleep as my PM, which I can pay $5 for, and I can buy 150 bottles. If you start mixing and matching from different manufacturers, your manufacturer is probably not going to want to ship your stuff anymore. So you can stay with them when you're using them and shipping only their stuff. But if you want to start expanding, you will have to move to a 3PL. The second time your manufacturer is going to move you onto a 3PL is if you get to the point where I have, where you've become a lifestyle brand. And that started with me wearing the logo on the t-shirt. And I got a couple of emails from people saying, Mark, where do I get this t-shirt you're wearing? It's so cool. And so we made some t-shirts, but our manufacturer said, look, we don't ship t-shirts or any of that stuff. So we moved over to 3PLs. You might want to start doing protein beakers with your logo on, pulling in 50 at a time from Alibaba for next to nothing, but those up on the website, branded protein beakers and stuff. It's just going to give the illusion that you're more than a supplement company, worth doing. But again, if you want to start bringing these in, yoga mats, hoodies, anything that's not a supplement, you'll need a 3PL. I hope that helps. Pay balance and ensure shipping partner has received the stock. Okay, so if you're with a 3PL, you'll have paid your manufacturer the balance. They'll then send it over once you've paid the couple $100 courier fee, and they'll send it to your 3PL. If you're using a 3PL, and you will want to check that they have received the stock. Once they have, we just need to run a quick test order. And in WooCommerce now, you can just click test order and you can check out on any amount, and it will make sure that the order is going through. Contact your shipping company and say, I've just done a test order. Did you see it come through? And if they said yes, it's time to get marketing. Congratulations. You have just set up your first supplement company. All right. There are nuances. It goes a lot deeper. I don't know how long we've been going now, but we've been going some time. And I see, according to my analytics, that the average viewer gets through, I think it's 13% of my videos. So it's probably just you left, right? It's just you and me. Well, good. Because you know what? All my mates were clowning around a long time ago, 11 years ago. But I sat with a lady and said, show me what you got. And I got enough pieces of the puzzle to go off and build a supplement company. And I pulled my finger and I sat there and I got up every morning and I learned a new aspect of marketing or e-com. And I just tried to sharpen myself as a weapon. And the result was that first year, off the back of a lot of sales experience, admittedly, but I can teach that. That first year, I did 442,000. Now, I am not that's US dollars. I'm not your Mr. $1 million a year. I actually can't be bothered. I need enough money for cigarettes and alcohol, and I'm happy. But which means I cut my ads. I think it was 2017, 18. It was the last time I did an ad. And what I've done is built this community that I just keep loving up, and they keep bringing friends. And we also gather people. We got a lot of affiliates. That's a good thing as well, to have other websites selling for you. But I'll go into that another day as well. But I think for now, if this idiot can do it, you can too. I think we got enough to get going. I think I've earned a like on this one for sure. Not for me, but just to let me know that the world's still good and not full of selfish pigs. Give my ego a stroke and hit that like button, please. If not, just to let my voice know you're sorry. And get subscribed, because if I get a good response on the likes to this one, it does stroke my ego. I've got not a lot better to do, because I do have that lovely residual income. You know, if you want, I don't know, 600K a year, I can help you. You want to go and do 7 figures a year, there's maybe better guys out there. But if you want to get, you know, if 30,000 a month, quite easily, without having to rely on third-party sites, but rather just getting affiliates to help you, building a community, and using some little-known things like press releases. I've used a press release and got $30,000 back as a result, because not anyone thinks to do press releases anymore. So I write a nice tabloidy hit piece on someone. I send it over to one of the political channels, and they publish it on their website, and sales go through the roof. So there's all kinds of cool stuff I want to teach later. But right now, you just got to get started. And that is everything you sort of need in the video. If you want to get into the detail, if you want to meet with me, then link in the description. It's yoursupplementbusiness.com, and you can book a session there. I'm putting some stuff up on that website. There is the second menu tab says do not click. That page, I've done the header. We're going to get it up today. And anything that you've seen in these videos, like templates, even the to-do list today, that will be on that page there. It's like the vault. It's open. And anything that may help you get your supplement business started, you'll find it in that page. I think we're done. Go build something meaningful. You've got an option now. Build a load of old crap, or build something you really care about. And if you build something you care about, I think your clients will too. In this crappy world, there's not many authentic people left, so it seems. And those that are authentic, they stand out a mile. They stand out a mile. Get your sleeves rolled up. You have a ball and chain around your leg. It's called life. It's colleagues that you could punch in the throat. It's bosses who are probably less smart than you. It's just the nonsense of it all and dealing with people. But if you're like me and you get your head down, roll your sleeves up and realize you've just been handed a hammer, you can bash that ball and chain off. I have literally just given you the keys to the Lamborghini, the keys to the vault, the keys to that Malibu beach house, whatever your idea of success is, a family that are financially secure, whatever. I've given you the keys. You just got to turn them. So go back through this video again, slow it down. And as I say something, pause it and allow your brain to think and create and have a real good time with it, because you can change your life now, but in the best way possible. And that's by changing others' lives, by connecting them to the supplements that hold the solutions to the ailments that are holding them back. From at the very least, just being happy. And I think everyone deserves a smile in this day and age. So go build a beautiful supplement company, build it around a group of people or a niche or an ailment, and then you'll be able to go out and put a lot of smiles on people's faces. And I tell you, I wake up every day, and I never expected this, but I wake up every day to at least one or two lovely emails from people who want to let me know I've touched their life in a very special way. And my 5'8" ass walks about 6'4" in this world, knowing that somehow from my little desk here, I do good in the world. They never mention that on my school reports. So let's get busy. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And leave me a comment. Just tell me if you want me to. The best thing you can do is say, hey, Mark, thank you for the overview, but could you go deeper on this? And I will do a video much deeper. But I think you got the umbrella now. You sort of got that bigger picture. You just got to get started. I wish you all the best. I've been Mark. You've been awesome. Hit that like button if you love your mum. Cheers.